What's up everyone, it's Bones here. In today's video, I'll be covering a recent event that happened in the OCG just about a couple of weeks ago, which followed No Forbidden Unlimited list, which you can imagine opened the doors to all sorts of chaos, as you'll see momentarily. But before I begin, if you happen to enjoy content like this, clicking on those thumbs up and subscribe buttons would be greatly appreciated, as it goes a long way in supporting the channel and shows me that you like content like this. I would also like to put an asterisk to that because I would like to keep my channel more TCG oriented and then maybe have stuff like this for holidays and stuff like that. So to start, I'm going to normal summon the Magical Scientist, bypassing the Pot of Greed because we have Crossout Designator and Called by the Grave, so we don't want to draw into any of the crossout targets, and Magical Scientist is FTK by itself, as you'll see momentarily, while we pay 1,000 to use its effect. Bring out a level 6 fusion, then we'll bring out the Fairy fusion that's a vanilla and also a tuner to give us our first level 8 synchro. As we go into the math mech, it can really be any, as we're going to bring out the Melodious Synchro 6, which I want to point out is kind of funny because the way the format played out, or the way the event played out, being a Shaddoll Aerial and just banishing up to 3 cards in any graveyard, crazy versus the current stuff. So you'll see that I'm going to use the Scientist again, and this will bring us out our second Vanity, as we now synchro 8 again, and as I said, it could be any level 8 synchro, because what you want to summon here is Bishbalkin, and if you've seen Bishbalkin before, you probably know where this is going, as we're going to special summon 3 tokens to both sides of the field, and then from here we can link summon a Link Karibo, go into a Link Spider, doing this so that we can go into the Geonator, and then we can use its effect giving our opponent the Bishbalkin, and then we can get more monsters on board by the Magical Scientist to put the Bishbalkin back at 8,000 attack, so that we can go into our rank 5 Chronomaly here. This will allow us to use its effect, which because Bishbalkin's original attack is 0 and it's currently at 8,000, our opponent will take 8,000 damage, giving us the FTK. On to this second one, and I'm not going to play it optimally fully, though the way that I play this hand can definitely come up in certain matchups in a no ban list tournament where we saw a deck like Exodia top and Mystic Mindburn where there's a lot of spells and traps. I think even Runic was on the pie chart, so that's what is going to make what you're going to see here pretty insane. So if you think that you were tired of seeing Ishizu tier, then wait until you've seen its final form. So we're going to start here by using the Sharon, and this will give us a level 4 on board by pitching the Eldo. Then we'll get the Scream effect, which will add us a Tier Limits trap as we add the Crime. And now we're going to use the Instant Fusion, which will bring us out our Norden. And I think that this is just absolutely wild that in a tournament like this where there is no ban list, Instant Fusion gives you access to Norden and Kick Kalos, and you get 3 Instant Fusions, so the possibilities are really endless. And now I'm going to use the Norden effect, bringing back our Keldo to give us another 4, and this is kind of what this combo revolves around, as we're going to go into Nyarla and then our Azathoth so that we can use the Azathoth effect, locking our opponent out of being able to use monster effects for the rest of our turn. And what this allows us to do is activate Painful Choice and start making tier limit plays while our opponent can't activate hand traps, they can't bestial the tier limit names in the graveyard or anything like that. But that's only just the start, as we're going to use the Havness, fusing away the Rhino Heart and the Havness in the graveyard that we send off of Painful Choice, and then from here we're going to add the Rhino Heart to our hand, and now we're going to use the Kick Kalos, special summon the Rhino Heart, then we can use the Rhino Heart Chainlink 1, Kick Kalos Chainlink 2, mill 5 as we send the Havness, then we'll use the Sharon effect to fuse away itself and the Kick Kalos, getting us the Rule Kalos, and now we can normal summon our Keldo, and because we have 3 level 4s, we can now activate Shockmaster, and this is just insane because of how early we were able to go into our Azathoth, and then having the capability of locking your opponent out of playing at all, especially after you know what they're on in game 2 and 3. Now, because of the route we took, we don't have a monster in hand, though we do still have the Soliac that we can set. I'll go over decks before going over the pie chart. I still just want to give a quick rundown on these decks, especially the Tier Limit Ishizu ones, because what I think is especially crazy about these is that they're not so much different at all besides obviously the 3 instant fusions, the graceful charities, and choice to what we currently have. The OCG did play with Maxi, but we did not here in the TCG. Herald of Orange Light is now at 1, but we did have this at 3 for a little while. But I think the spicy thing here is the extra deck, where the tier stuff is all pretty standard, but then you have your Norden fusion, the Baron, which you can make with the Diviner, allows you to play around bestial monsters by being able to detach a Sharon or a Rhino Heart after your opponent uses their bestial monsters effect, and then give you an option from that. Your Sharon even allows you to put back whatever the bestial targets. This could also be Dweller. Number 60 and the Ptolemaios here are kind of weird. I don't know exactly reasoning behind the Ptolemaios. Number 60 is an option that allows you to turbo more efficiently. And then only 2 link monsters with the Dark and the Elf, not even playing the Sprint, which I can imagine with more time and testing there could be more optimization. It could have been built in a format like this where there is no list, and it's something that isn't heavily explored. As for the side deck, the crazy thing to me here is the triple Imperial or to add all the shenanigans of Master and Azathoth. You can imagine Droll was a good call in a format like this where you could imagine people would be on Pot of Greed and Graceful Charity. So I'm curious to know how much this came up. I think the 3 Change of Heart is also interesting. The Bestial's self-explanatory really, as well as the Call by the Graves. And it's another tier Ishizu list. This one opted to play the 3 Heralds, the Winda, access through the Beast. Also played Shizu count, which is kind of interesting, as well as the Future Fusions. Extra deck did have Lavalval Chain though. The Ptolemaios could go into the Diamond. It's an option for Durandal. It's definitely interesting to see the differences between both tier Ishizu lists. This one also only played the 2 instant fusions. The third list here, and I don't feel like it's been long enough to look at this list and not feel a certain way. This is just Mystic Mindburn with 3 Graceful Charity, 3 Pot of Greed, 3 Card of Demise, the 3 Duality, 3 Formings, and 3 Liliths. So this is just like Demise of the Land, but even better. Being as tier Ishizu is the dominant deck, not the least bit surprised to see full power Mystic Mind make the top cut. The extra deck, we just have a thing really. For the side deck, just standard Lava Golems, the Maxis, Dark Rulers to pair with Mind, the Dark Sacrifices, 3 Dark Bribes, and the 3 Solemn Judgments, or the 2 Solemn Judgments because the last one is in the main deck. And this is the Magical Scientist that I featured on that combo, which is just 3 Magical Scientists, a bunch of ways to get into it. Traps and ways to stop hand traps is one of the craziest lists I've seen from an event like this. It almost feels like looking at Sky Striker. You have your 3 of, unquote, Ray, a bunch of hand traps. Instead of Engage, which is pseudo Pot of Greed, except it searches, the actual Pot of Greed, for one, is sort of like a Hornet Drones actually getting you into Magical Scientist, and then you also have the 3 Graceful Charities with the 3 called, but 3 cross with your hand traps. Just an insane list. Now, I feel, considering the options he chose, his extra deck with the Melodious 6 Fusion, along with the dual Avatar, he made some good format calls. It's pretty nice. Side deck, he did play the 2 Nibirus, the 2 Pinks, 3 Dimensional Shifters, the 2 Ogres, 3 Harpies Feather Dusters, and 3 Dimensional Fishers. Finally, I can go over the pie chart, and as you see here, we still have a glance of Zoo, which is the former King of Unlimited. Back in the day, I remember when this was Dark Worlds. King Abyss also had their time, I believe, but the shocking thing really is just how large representation still is for tier, even though there is more diversity. Don't know what any of the others are. I don't know what type of Bestial deck this is. We did get an Exodia deck and a Dragoon deck, along with a Numeron deck, which I don't feel are surprising to make top cut in a format like this, because these are notoriously cheesy. The same can go for Eldish and the Bamboo stuff. Sprite and Runic are just naturally really strong decks. Make me not too surprised to see them on here. I'll leave a link to all this stuff down below so that you can check it out yourself and see if you can get more information. But anyways, if you made it this far into the video, I thank you for watching and I hope you enjoyed. If you have any suggestions, feel free to leave them down below. It's Bones, signing out.